Nitish. Okay, friends. So now let me share my screen. Today's session I want to start. Are you able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So this is a screenshot. You remember in last class we learned how to pass data from child component to parent component. This is a child component, this is a parent component. When click on the button, data populated into the parent component. Today we learn reverse. We will create two component, parent component and child component. Let me close this. So name, email, phone and CT. These are part of the parent component and these are table. This table, part of the child component. Button also part of the parent components. So whenever we put the value in the input field, click on the button, this table will display in the child component. So data will populate from parent component to child component. So for the today, we will learn how to pass data from parent component to child component using @API function. Last day, we learned custom event and dispatch event. So through the custom event and dispatch event, passing data from child component to parent component. Today we will learn how to use @API function to pass data from parent component to child component. Okay. So you got my scenario by today.
Yes,
What
sir.
I covering? Everyone? Any confusion? Anyone got my any confusion?
Sir, I just joined. Can you just recap the today's task? I'm sorry.
Okay. Today we are passing data from parent component to child component. Parent component, there is a four type of input field. Child component there is a tables. When click on the button part of the parent component. When click on the button, we will be pass the data from parent component to child component through @API function. This is a two-day scenario. So now let me go on Visual Studio Code. Let me close this toolbar and this is a previous component. This is a child, this is a parent. So we will use same component, not creating another one. So this is a training parent LWC, this is JavaScript, this is a training child LWC, and this is a child component. So first of all, this is a table, this is a parent component. So first of all, let me work on the component level. So first let me uh, cut from a parent component and paste inside the child component. Here. Class equal to p around media. I created a div. Inside the div, I paste the table that is copy from the parent component. Now let me cut this div from this is child component. Cut, go parent component, and here this div already exists, so I will cut from here. SLDS grid and SLDS rep cut. Go to parent component. Inside the SLDS around medium, we'll paste here. Now this button cut, not require this div. Go to parent component and after the child component, paste here. So this is the child component I calling in the parent component. Just creating a component as a reverse order. First I putting a input field, then calling the child component, and at the bottom I putting a lightning button. And in the child component, I get only table. So now let me put dummy data. I will pass dynamically value. Now let me save both of the components and deploy to org. Deploy successfully. Now let me deploy to parent component as well. Both component has been deployed successfully. Now let me go Salesforce org and refresh it. It parent component. Now let me change the title. Passing data from parent to child. Deploy successfully. Now let me refresh. Okay. So this is my this is a parent component. In the parent component, I created a 4-type input field. Then I calling a child component. After that, this is a child component, and this is a button. After the child component, I created a button. This is a button. If you check child component, in the child component, there is only one table. That's it. And data currently data is visible as a dummy data. So now let me remove all of the function. I will write in front of you so that you can understand the better. Let me remove previous function. I will write in front of you so that we can understand. Now let me apply code. So I only copy the HTML part, HTML structure. Okay. Okay, fine. So now first go to the parent component and each and every input field I passing a function that is a handle change. So this is a function and each and every input field I passing two type of the attributes, label and name. Labels are different and name are also different. So based on the name attribute, I will get the current value from this function. So first let me create a function, handle change. Let me create a variable name, email, phone and city. There are four input field. So I created four type of input variable. So that we can store the current input field value into this variable. Event first input name event dot target dot name copy event value. So it will return name of the input field and it will return current value of the input field event. Okay, fine. Now I will check condition if this input name double equal to first will be check name input field this one. Then we'll store the data this dot name equal to current value I'm getting from this variable, so this pass here. If you want to check what is returning, log f1 copy this variable. Now let me save and deploy to code. Let me check the console.log what's both of the variable returning. Deploy successfully. Now let me go Salesforce and refresh the page. Open inspect. Console. Now let me put suppose put let me delete all of the console and let me tip V. Is returning name because this is a name input field returning name and this is a value V. That means it's returning correct. Now let me put let's suppose putting phone 8. So this is a input name, this is a value. So it's returning good. That means this function working good. So friends, you got any confusion? Hello?
Sir, today we are not using any at the rate API or
First
track,
I getting
right?
the value from input field. That after that I will use
Okay.
at that API function. Yeah. So at that API function will call inside the child component so that child component will receive the value. Okay. So any
Okay.
confusion? No. Okay.
No, no, sir.
So first
No,
I am
sir.
getting the value of the current input field and storing the value into the variable. So so after getting all of the value from the input field, we need to pass the data. So whenever click the button, we pass the data from parent component to child component. So in the child component, I will create a that API function. So at that API function, that means this will read this at that API function will receive the value that I am passing the data. Okay, so that at that API function also will call inside the parent component so that they received. Okay, so let me first create one by one. Wait. So first I get the value first input field. Similarly, else if this one, This time I'm checking email, and similarly this time I will storing the value of email. So this is a variable of email. Rest of things will same because this is a input field. I created a constant variable. Each and every time it will store and pass the data based on this condition. Now let me create another one condition for phone, and this is a phone. Last one for city. So that's it. This is a value. There are four input fields, so I storing one by one all of the value. So this is a handle change. Handle change coming from here. Okay, this is a handle change function. Close here. Remove the space extra, and after that, this handle exchange function, I will create another one method that is a click function. So this is a click function available in the parent component. So now I'm creating a hand submit action so that I will pass the data from parent to child. Now similarly event, and first we will store the all of value that I am receiving from input field. By receiving value from input field and storing data inside this variable. So first I will get the value. So now let me create a constant variable inside the function. Let me put the name data. Here I will store the value in object name. So object always exists in key and value. Name dot this variable. You can see this variable. Similarly, copy and one by one I putting the value name, email, phone, then city. I created a object type and don't forget to remove comma from last one. After that, now let me go child component. So first this object variable will pass inside the child component. So now let me go child component. In the child component, there is a JavaScript. So in the JavaScript of child component, here I will use @ API function. This API function will receive the value that is coming from the parent component. So it will receive. So now let me create a function receive data. You can put any kind of name data because this function receiving the value from parent component. So I'm putting the name receiving data, receive data. Now put a parameter like. So now put a data, let's suppose because I am receiving a data. So I'm putting a similar name data. You can put any kind of name. Then what's kind of data receiving? Data receiving this type data I will send. So this data will send from parent component. So this data will receive in child component. Okay. So now similarly for displaying the component, first of all let me create a variable name, email, phone, and city. So first let me create a variable. This value will receive and store the value. So what receive data? Let's suppose I'm storing the value name equal to what name? So name receiving data, let's put small data dot what receiving from this name. Similarly, copy and one by one email coming from here and data coming from here. Phone I put in same type of name, so variable and value similar display. No, this function I will call inside the parent component. So this is a parent component JavaScript. So first let me select a component. This is a child component. This is a child component. Inside the child component, here is not required because it is a previous events name. In the child component, I'm not passing any kind of the function and events name. Just simply selecting this name of the component. And after the submit button, here create another one function, create another one variable. This dot template dot query selector. And inside the query selector, pass the child component name. This is a selector. So first I selecting this component name. This is a child component. Child. This is the name of the variable child CMP. Now this is a child component. So first I am selecting the child component. After that I will pass the child component function. So once I created a child component function name is receive data. This is a that API function. So this function I am calling inside the parent component JavaScript. First I select the component name, then passing the function of the API. And in the API function, I passing as a parameter like. So what kind of data? This is a instead of this parameter, I am passing data this one that I am passing. This data I am passing. Okay. So first I selecting the child component and here I am calling the API function. This function I are calling and this is a data that I am sending. So this data I am sending from here. This here this is a receiving. And after that, to display this variable, what data it received. So this variable I am calling inside the component. So this variable I am passing here. So we can check what data received. Now let it before putting, let me deploy all of the components. If any kind of error then resolve. Okay, then receive, then deploy the code. Deploy the code now. Refresh. Okay. So there are no error occur during the deployment. All file and JavaScript file has been successfully deployed. Refresh. No. This is a parent component. This is a child component. Once putting the value, this value automatically populate into the table. This is a table of the child component. And this is a right now I am passing the dummy data. So nothing happened. So now go to val component. One by one, I am passing the variable. This variable name, copy, and one by one passing the value. Name, email, phone, sorry, phone and city. Name, email, phone and city. Deploy the code. Now let me check the scenario. Vijay, support at the rate W3Web.net, put a number and contact and submit. Once click on the button, all of the input value will get and populate into the table. Not populating.
Sir, yeah, actually the submit action button,
Okay.
the spelling, na, I think that is the
Submit
P
action.
you have added
Okay.
extra.
This is a submit. Oh.
In the
Hmm.
JavaScript. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
action.
Now let me. Okay. 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 Thank you. Okay. Now let me save and deploy once again. Deploy successfully. Now let me refresh once again and check the scenario. Final output. Vijay, support at the rate W3 web.net. Put the name and no data. Submit. Yeah, great. Let me put any kind of value. Yes, it's working fine, brother. Hmm. So, any question for this scenario from anyone?
सर इस तरह के
How,
सिनेरियो को क्या
if
बोलते हैं?
interview panel asking the question, can you please explain about how to pass data from parent component to child component? What your approach? You can say, sir, we can pass the data from parent to child component through the that API function. Because let me check. Let's move. Right now, I am commented this that API. Rest of the things are same, but I commented the API. Okay. Now let me save and deploy to code. It will not work. Reply successfully. Rest of things same, nothing changes. Only I commented one line, that is the other API. Refresh the page. Now let me put the value. Now let me see. It will not work. What it? How does work at that API function? At that API function always work whenever we need to pass data from one component to another one component. You remember last day we learned custom events and dispatch event. That time also defined at that API decorator arena because it is a global, it is a use whenever passing data from one component to another one component. you can create a variable and you can create as a function as well. So here I created as a function. Yeah, last day I created as a variable. If I click commented, if I removing the comments and deploy the code once again, it will work.
इसमें और कोई ऑप्शन भी पॉसिबल है क्या?
ये पॉसिबल है, मतलब डायरेक्ट अगर आपके पास ज़्यादा वैल्यू है, जैसे मेरे पास कई सारे फील्ड्स हैं, फिर सपोज आपके पास बहुत सारे फील्ड्स हैं, तो इस केस में ये ज़्यादा अच्छा होता है। इसके अलावा तो आप सब भी भेज सकते हैं, एलएमएस से भेज सकते हैं।
अगर बहुत ज़्यादा
फंक्शन
डेटा हो तो उस
फंक्शन
केस में ये वाला रिलायबल रहता है ऐसा?
अगर सिंपल से अगर हेलो मैसेज भेजना है तो उसके लिए तो फंक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है। तो बेसिकली क्या है कि हमें जब भी फंक्शन बनाए, तो फंक्शन बनाने के टाइम हमें ध्यान रखना है कि हमें ऐसे फंक्शन बनाए कि इन फ्यूचर अगर भी डेटा इनपुट फील्ड बढ़ भी जाए तो हमारी फंक्शन चलता रहे, मतलब कि उस पर कोई इम्पेक्ट ना पड़े। तो आज का सेशन कैसा रहा?
ओके सर।
बहुत अच्छा था सर।
Sir, it was
तो आज
good.
का फीडबैक मैं चाहूँगा कि आप कैमरा ऑन कर लें प्लीज़। आज लास्ट सेशन है और आज का सेशन कैमरा ऑन करके आप आज के सेशन के बारे में बताएं। सबसे पहले आज मनु से स्टार्ट करते हैं। पिछले बार उनका कैमरा बंद हो गया था।
नहीं नहीं, कैमरा बंद नहीं होता, वो नेटवर्क के इशू की वजह से थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम आया था सर।
क्या
इट
सीखा
वाज
आज आप?
अ ग्रेट सेशन
व्हाट यू
टुडे
लर्न
एज वेल, एंड
द
फॉर
टुडे
दिस
सेशन?
टुडे सेशन में ये लर्न हुआ है कि पेरेंट्स से हम कुछ भी भेज सकते हैं चाइल्ड के अंदर। एंड फर्स्ट थिंग, I was also confused. Thanks for Rachna asking that question for API. I was thought like I thought कि API सिर्फ variable में ही use होता है, and now I confirm like it can be called in function as well. Okay,
थैंक यू
so
सो
this
मच।
was my
नाउ
learning
गो
for today.
अहमद। अहमद जी,
Thank you, sir.
प्लीज ओपन योर कैमरा। व्हाट यू लर्न बाय टुडे?
Yeah,
कैन
it's
यू प्लीज
like
ओपन योर कैमरा
whatever
ब्रदर?
that scenario you shared with कैमरे का
ओके,
इशू है सर,
प्लीज टेल मी।
इसलिए नहीं कर पाऊंगा। So so whatever scenario you taught today, it's really good for me. I learn new thing as well, and I'll utilize all that learning in my day-to-day project
ओके,
development work. Thank you, sir.
रचना,
Thank you for your effort. Thank you.
कैन यू ओपन योर
यस
कैमरा
सर,
एज वेल?
थैंक यू सर। मेरे को भी पेरेंट टू चाइल्ड कैसे पास कर
थैंक यू। सो व्हाट यू लर्न बाय टुडे सेशन?
सो सर पेरेंट से चाइल्ड कंपोनेंट में कैसे पास करते हैं वो पता चला। और एपीआई वेरिएबल, मतलब वो वेरिएबल में ही यूज होता है। मुझे भी अब तक ये लगता था फंक्शन में भी हम इसको यूज
थैंक
कर
यू सो
सकते हैं।
मच।
ये
नाउ गो
मुझे
टू
सीखने को मिला।
विवेक।
तो थैंक यू सर। या
हाय विवेक। सो व्हाट यू लर्न टुडे सेशन?
Hello, sir. Sir, I learned like it was a nice session, like always. So, sir, I mean, I was aware of the API decorator and calling of the parent to child. And I was thinking like you will also be using making those variable public and then passing from child, but you use that template dot query selector, and then it was
ओके,
a
थैंक
good
यू।
experience in learning
सो
stuff.
नाउ लेट मी गो टू
Thank you, sir.
नीतीश। Anitish, what you learn by today?
Hi, sir. Like I will, yeah, yeah. So actually, I was knowing the
Mm-hmm.
concept, but there was little bit confusions. So now I got clarity
Mm-hmm.
regarding the query selector, template dot query selector, and parent and the both the classes I attended, like child to parent and
You
parent to
learn
child.
today.
Now I got the clarity
Thank you
both
so
the
much.
classes.
So
Thank you, sir.